What's up, everybody? It's your favorite ink blot's favorite nerd. Today we are looking at Arts Kai's Watchmen Rorschach. Now, before we get too far into this, I want to say that this figure could be great, or he could be okay, and it depends on you and what you want from him. Now that is being said, we'll get into him a little bit. Okay, so we'll start off with accessories. So he starts off with your typical standard issue Play Art stand, which swivels at the bottom, hinges here, and swivels. Mine is loose, but you know, it still serves its purpose. And then these grip the figure. Some people don't like them. I do. I have a video showing you how to assemble them if you need it. It comes with 2 extra heads with different ink blots, and I gotta say, ink blots are fascinating to me. I wish I knew more about them, you know, and I would give tests on people.
So, let me get your opinion. What do you see in this?
Why do you spend all our money on this nonsense? Nothing?
But you have these 2 designs to choose from. You know, it's kind of up to you and your sensibilities. I prefer the standard issue one that's on there. The sculpt is pretty much the same. Well, it is the same sculpt, so it's just different paint, so it all articulates and everything the same. He comes with an extra bottom of the trench coat, which we will get into later. He comes with a ton of hands. We'll start with this one. This is his trigger finger hand, and it is all molded, these lines in the leather gloves and so forth, and the stitching, you know, I hope you can see that, down the center of the fingers and all, very nicely done, with a nice dark wash over top of this kind of burgundy color. This is his trigger finger hand, so it holds this, which is his grappling hook, and this is painted and kind of haphazardly washed, and it's got a little design in there, and it's got the coating and so forth, the stamp right there on the handle, so that'll be hidden. That's a nice place for it. We got bronze paint, silver paint, gold paint, all these little details are all sculpted. Very nice. The gold here at the top and some of the silver, it might be the whole thing, but the gold, at least at the top, has a nice black wash on it, which comes across very nicely. And then this bit comes off, and it can be replaced with this one, like as if he's getting ready to fire it. So that's a nice touch, you know. Not a necessity, but they added it to the set, and that's the kind of stuff I like. He holds it like a champ, with the finger right in there inside the finger guard, and the other finger's kind of gripping it. It can get out of whack a little bit, but if you get it in there and you really secure it, it's not going anywhere. Very nicely done. It comes with this hand, which is like a gripping hand. Same sort of thing that we talked about before with the other hand, and this you would put his journal in. If you know the story of the Watchmen, the journal is a big deal. All this stuff in there, these little details are like this was a coffee stain, I think, but it's all sculpted, which is nice. It's got this band around it. The journal, 1984, 1985, is sculpted in. Very nice. And you kind of got to wedge that in there like that. It doesn't work perfectly, but it does work. We've got this hand, which is his match holding hand, which holds either the stick of matches like that, not perfect, and you can, I guess that's a little better actually, so that's probably how it was intended. So that is actually pretty perfect, so I'm an idiot. This is nicely done. Hand is pretty much standard issue. The matches themselves got paint down here. We got this translucent plastic here with the kind of black wash at the bottom up into a, and the black wash at the bottom is like signifying like the chemical change, like, you know, it's just, they didn't have to do that, and it's pretty awesome. And then we got a little bit of red dry brushing perhaps, or maybe even paint up at the top. And then you got this, which you could put in instead, and he holds that like that. And we got the white coming here, and then translucent plastic. We got a little bit of black wash down there at the bottom, and then we got red tips and orange and yellows up in there. Very nice. And this goes on the opposite hand or arm as this one, which is holding his spray can, which if you are familiar with the book or the movie, you know, he gets gets busy with this a little bit. Purple paint, silver paint, all nicely done. I'll have pictures of all the different options at the end, and you can see what he can do with them. But they all work well. And the nice thing is, just real quick, the hand, some of the times Play Arts has a problem with choosing which hands to do what with, and you end up being limited in options. So this one is either you use one hand holding the can or the other hand holding the spray thing, or you have this hand holding the grappling hook and then this hand can then hold the journal. Or instead of the journal, you can have this hand, which is the last one, and this kind of has this little hole in there, and these will also fit in there. I think the directions say to put them into this closed hand, but I don't feel like he holds it as well. I mean, he definitely holds it. It's not going anywhere, but for some reason, it's just the way the fingers allow for, like, you know, to get it really wedged in there. But this finger can then hold, or this hand can then hold the rose as well, and you just kind of got to sit it in there. It doesn't hold it perfectly, but it will hold it. Will he hold it in the other hand? Not really. I mean, he doesn't really properly hold it in either, but I feel like he holds it worse in this one. But all in all, very nicely done. This hat is also an accessory, and you know how troublesome hats can be on a figure. This one goes on very nicely. Like, that's the difference when you get a premium figure. Head is on a ball peg. It's very limited due to the sculpt of the head. And limited articulation is kind of this guy's Achilles heel. So we have this here, this tunic here, and that's sculpted on. That gets in the way of the chin. And then we have the way that, let me see if I can't show you. The way that that's sculpted in there, the neck only goes so far. But there is a, if you can kind of see it, that piece, the way it's done, the peg is in there deep, so you can get like this upper body kind of bit of business, which is nice. The trench coat itself, easy for me to say, is a sculpt soft plastic, so you won't have any issues with that. And it's all, I mean, every ounce of it is dry brushed and washed, giving it a really nice effect. Buttons are all sculpted and painted. Very nice. These are, that's just pegged in. This is all soft plastic as well. These are not articulated, which is kind of a shame, but whatever. So the shoulders are on a bit of a different, there's a piece inside here that swivels out for the butterfly joint. Doesn't get you a whole lot, but it does get you some. And then the shoulders themselves are on a ball disc that you can see in there. You get up to about there, you get all the way down. It's a soft ratchet, and you can get out to there, no problem. Ball hinged, elbows, standard issue with Play Arts, swivels at the top, and let's see if I can show, and the bottom a little bit. Nice ratchet in there to 90 degrees. Same articulation with the wrist, swivels at the top, and I believe at the bottom, maybe not. A ratchet in the wrist hinge as well. Identical on the other side. These two hands are just fist hands, as an FYI. And, they just, I'm sure you guys know that, but just in case. Legs. Nice purple paint with a dark wash over top of all. You got the pinstripes that are all sculpted in. I love that. And they're painted as well, giving it a very nice effect. A lot of times, I have problems with the pants and the way that they crinkle up. This one isn't as great as this one. This one's done really nicely. That looks very natural to me. I like that a lot. Hips, you're getting them out to there. So that's a little bit limited. Not crazy limited, but a little bit limited. And then they're on a universal joint with a hard ratchet, and you're getting them up to about there. Same kind of deal. Back to about there, even worse. So that's a problem. Knees are double hinged, and it has this nice sculpted pant piece there, which hides the ugliness of Play Arts knees, so no complaints there, which is really nice. And well, we'll talk about it in a second. And then the feet are on the ball hinge there, allowing for a rocker, and you just swivel that to get you what you need, and a hinge, and then it has an additional toe tilt, which is nice. And you can go to an extreme angle where it starts to look goofy, but overall it's nice. It's washed with a dark wash, which makes it look so gritty. I love it. And then the sole is all sculpted on. Very nice. Back is all pretty plain, but very nice. The knees are a little bit of an eyesore on the back, but, you know, that's kind of the cost of doing business. The other cost of doing business when you have characters with coats on and stuff like that is doing the shoulder, doing enough articulation in the arms and so forth, where you get these, you know, you get these little ugly eyesores there, but, you know, a little bit of articulation and a little bit of posing, and, you know, you can get them in some poses that, you know, you don't really notice them, which is nice, right? Like, that's not really, I mean, if you go to that angle, it's fine. If you put them on a shelf like that, no big deal. Even better, right? So, all in all, pretty good. But the articulation is limited, and it is limited because of the coat and so forth. And that's unfortunate. That's not what I expect with this company. That could be a real bummer for somebody who really wanted to put this guy in a very specific pose with either the grappling gun or the aerosol can. If they really had something up their sleeve that they wanted to do with that, that could be a problem. It's not going to be too, you know, you can still get some stuff out of them, you know. So it's not super hindered, but you are going to have a difficult time with it, and that's because of the cloak, and more importantly, it's because of the gimmick. And this is where the saving grace comes in. Let's get him transformed. Take this apart, and it is tight like a tiger in there. I had to apply some real force, but take this apart so that you have this bit here. Set that aside. Take off this trench coat piece, and you can see, you know, just where the articulation is. Oh, we got this waist swivel in there as well, which doesn't really work in the cloak mode or the transformer talk, but the which doesn't really work with the cloak on, but the trench coat on, but you do have it. Okay, so then you take this bit, which we talked about briefly, slide that over top. Put this back on. Take his arms. Take the hands off. Bend it back. There's a hole right there. Get it so that his hands are in his pockets. And then you can have him kind of walking and brooding. Put his hat on, and you have this look, which is pretty awesome. Size-wise, there he is next to the variant Flash. So he is much more in this scale than he is in this kind of older play art scale. It seems like they're completely moving away from this scale to this scale, which I'm okay with. It's you know, it's a letdown for the figures I have of this, but I'll kind of put them aside, and that'll be that. So final thoughts is really, this guy's a gift and a curse. The curse is that he does have this trench coat. It does pose problems, both in posing him without the hands in the pockets gimmick, as well as there's some gap in the flap on the back where sometimes you can see through to the back, and it makes the elbows unsightly from time to time. And those are really the only big hindrances. There's also the head sculpt, which doesn't allow for much articulation there. So the big Achilles heel of this entire piece is articulation. And the articulation suffers at the expense of aesthetics and at the expense of the gimmick. Now the gift is, this will absolutely be how I have him on my shelf. It looks too good not to put him in this pose on your shelf, I feel. The other accessories and stuff are so good that it's going to be hard not to put him in this pose. But at the end of the day, this pose is really breathtaking. It's just, the character is just bleeding through into this figure. The paint is spectacular. The sculpt, once you get him in the pose you want, if that pose works, is amazing. The accessories are all super well thought out and executed. I really hope they continue with this line and continue to make more Watchmen figures. I would definitely get the entire set. You know, both the Golden Age, Silver Age, or whatever, and the modern day Watchmen. I would definitely do it in a heartbeat, especially a Silk Spectre. That would be fantastic. I would have these on a shelf just by themselves without a second thought, because they really are Beautiful. So if you are a fan of the book, which I am, and you are a fan of the movie, which I am, or you are a fan of one or the other and you love Rorschach like I do, you're going to go ahead and need to get this figure in your collection. I hate to be the one to break the bad news to you, but he is amazing. You will not be disappointed unless you were stuck up on those things that I've already pointed out. So with that being said, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care. I'm not stuck in here with you. You're stuck in here with me.